And so finally, we now have Matt's Pick of the Week. And this week it was actually rather interesting, because apparently there is a holiday that I have never heard of in my life. And somehow it actually exists. It's a thing, apparently. And it's actually called Sony Animation Day. Now, some of you are probably wondering, what is Sony Animation Day? And what do you do to commemorate Sony Animation Day? Well, I will tell you. You have to do something in order to celebrate the animated films that Sony Pictures Animation have released. So what you do is basically you have to watch an animated film that is so bad and so unwatchable that it makes you want to throw up. Nah, but seriously though, basically Sony Animation Day is just some stupid thing that Sony made up just so that they can have an excuse to make a list of announcements regarding the animated films that are going to be coming up for 2017 and 2018. And with the new plan that Sony Animation wants to do, there is actually a lot of them. So, let's not waste any time and let's get things started by going into the order of when these animated films are going to be released, and we'll begin with Smurfs The Lost Village. Now, the thing that they have announced in Smurfs The Lost Village is actually going to be what's in The Lost Village. They decided, screw it, we might as well spoil the movie. And yes, in The Lost Village is going to be a tribe of female Smurfs. Sony basically announced that there are going to be brand new Smurf girls, including Smurf Storm, Smurf Blossom, Smurf Lily, and the leader Smurf Willow. Now, these Smurf ladies are going to be voiced by Michelle Rodriguez, Ellie Kemper, Ariel Winter, and Julia Roberts, respectively. But on top of that, they have also announced a list of cameos of who's going to be in the movie. So the cameos include Gordon Ramsay will be Baker Smurf, Gabriel Iglesias as Jokey Smurf, Titus Burgess as Vanity Smurf, Jeff Dunham as Farmer Smurf, Jake Johnson as Grouchy Smurf, and finally, the director of this movie, Kelly Asbury, will be Nosy Smurf. So that's basically the whole idea that they got with Smurfs The Lost Village, is mostly to announce about the girl Smurfs that are going to be in there. And then next up, we got everybody's most beloved animated feature that we're all excited for, the Emoji Movie. Yes, that's still gonna be a freaking thing. I know, it's just... oh god, if there's one thing that proves that there's gonna be worse things coming out than the Nut Job 2, it's gonna be freaking this. But anyways, the only thing that Sony Animation has revealed about the Emoji Movie is gonna be more of who's gonna be in the cast. Like, who among these people, like, who is it among the celebrities that are so desperate enough to have the money in order to appear in the Emoji Movie? Well, they actually include Jennifer Coolidge, who's going to be playing as Jean's mother, Mary Meh. Maya Rudolph will be playing Smiler, Jake T. Austin as Alex, and the big news that people took the most from all the announcements that Sony Animation made, other than, like, the Spider-Man stuff, Sir Patrick Stewart will be playing Poop. Beforehand, it was Tom Kane who was playing the character back when he was known as Poop Daddy, but now they decided he's just going to be named Poop, and he's going to be Patrick Stewart. That's pretty much the whole thing. And then we move on to probably the biggest announcement that they've done is the star. And the biggest announcement, by that I mean pretty much like the most that they've revealed about it. Now, we know that the star is going to be the story of the first Christmas when Jesus Christ was born, and it's going to be in the perspective of the animals. But Sony Animation decided that they are going to reveal the giant list of not necessarily A-list stars, but celebrities that are going to be lending their voice in this. And these include, so bear with me because there's a lot of them. There's Stephen Yoon as Bo the Donkey, Kelly Clarkson as Leah the Horse, A.D. Bryant as Ruth the Sheep, Keegan-Michael Key as Dave the Dove, Kristen Chenoweth as a mouse, Anthony Anderson as Zach the Goat, Gabriel Iglesias as Rufus the Dog, Ving Rhames as Thaddeus the dog, Delilah Reen as Elizabeth, Chris Christopherson as Old Donkey, Gina Rodriguez as Mary, Zachary Levi as Joseph, and also there are going to be 3 camels that are going to be voiced by Oprah Winfrey, named Deborah, Tyler Perry as Cyrus, and Tracy Morgan as Felix. And finally, we also got Christopher Plummer as King Herod. And what's actually very interesting is that unlike all the other Sony Pictures Animation films, this one is not going to be directly done at Sony Pictures Imageworks in terms of where the animation is going to be. This is actually going to be done at Cinesite Studios. And it's actually very interesting because with The Star, this is going to be a massive collaboration between several big studios. It's not just going to be Sony Pictures Animation, but also, like I said, Cinesite Studios is going to be providing the animation, and they're also going to get a helping hand from the Jim Henson Company, where Lisa Henson and Brian Henson are going to be involved as the producers, which is actually pretty interesting. And then next up, we're going to 2018, where they revealed the plot about Hotel Transylvania 3. Now, they didn't really reveal among who is going to be the new people that is going to be in the cast. Like, that's already been known. Like, we got Adam Sandler as Dracula, Selena Gomez as Mavis, and Andy Samberg as Johnny. And yes, of course, we got the man who decided that money is more important than having a reputation and creativity in general. Gendy Tartakovsky decided to go back as the director and also be the writer along with Michael McCullers. And basically, the plot that we are getting with Hotel Transylvania 3, and I'm going in my source here on comingsoon.net, where it says, Mavis surprises Dracula with a family voyage on a luxury monster cruise ship so he can take a vacation from providing everyone else's vacation at the hotel. The rest of the Drac Pack cannot resist going along, and once they leave port, romance zings Dracula when he meets the mysterious ship captain Erica. Now it's Mavis' turn to play the overprotective parent, keeping her dad and Erica apart. Little do they know that his too-good-to-be-true love interest is actually a descendant of Van Helsing, arch-nemesis of Dracula and all monsters. However, this is not going to be the only thing that Sony is going to do with Hotel Transylvania. In fact, they're actually going to do something this year, where they are actually going to make a brand new animated short called Puppy. And Puppy is basically this little Hotel Transylvania cartoon, again by Gendy Tartakovsky, where the little kid, you know, that kid that looks like an absolute horrendous ripoff of one of the triplets from Brave, he decided to bring in this giant monster as a pet, and that's basically the whole cartoon. But there is actually a catch. If you are excited to see this little cartoon with Hotel Transylvania and Dennis, oh, trust me, don't, because there is a huge catch to this. If you want to see Puppy, then you have to go see the Emoji Movie. That's right, Puppy is only going to be premiering right in front of the Emoji Movie. That's the only way that you have to go and check it out. Yeah, Sony got you there, didn't it? But anyways, going back into the announcements, last but certainly not least, in fact, last and the best, is actually the untitled animated Spider-Man. And with this one, they didn't reveal anybody in the cast. They did update on who's going to be in the crew, but there is one massive thing that they did reveal about this Spider-Man movie, and it is officially confirmed that this Spider-Man, it will not be Peter Parker, but instead it's going to be Miles Morales, or Miles Morales, or however you pronounce it. But yeah, it's basically going to be Miles. So we are legit going to be getting an African-American Spider-Man. But what is actually interesting about it is that we are actually getting a little bit of an update on who's going to be among the crew. Now, one of the big things is that we do know that Phil Lord and Chris Miller is going to be attached to this project, but not necessarily in the way that you think. Surprisingly enough, the writing is only done by Phil Lord. It's just him. But Lord and Miller are still going to be a duo in this, by being the executive producers. So that's pretty much the big thing. But also, in terms of the directing, there is a little bit of a change as well. Bob Persichetti is still going to be the director, but at the same time, he's going to have backup as well. There's also going to be Peter Ramsey that's going to be the director with Bob. And if you don't know who Peter Ramsey is, he used to work at DreamWorks, where he was the director of Rise of the Guardians. So that's actually going to be pretty interesting to see his directorial comeback since Rise of the Guardians. But at least, like, he's going to get additional help as well from Bob. So yeah, that's basically all the announcements that they have done. Like, technically they did announce, they did talk more about Vivo, but they didn't really add anything new to it. They just, the only thing that they talked about is that, yes, they're doing Vivo, and Lin-Manuel Miranda of Hamilton and Moana is going to be providing the music for it. You know, like, they've already met, like, they're just talking about stuff that we already know about the project. But anyways, with all that said, though, with the announcements, allow me to just go back into the list and let me give you guys a little bit about my thoughts on each of the announcements that they have made. Okay, so first off, with Smurfs The Lost Village, yeah, the thing is that it's kind of stupid of Sony that they decided, screw it, we're just gonna go and immediately announce what's gonna be in the Lost Village. We don't care if it's going to spoil the movie, but in a way, I kind of do understand what Sony is trying to do. In their defense, they have already stated that they're going a little bit further back from the source material, like, Smurfette is not a product of Gargamel anymore. Like, now, apparently, she was, like, she's one of the members of the Lost Village, but somehow she ended up with all the guys. So, with all that said, like, I do understand why Sony wants to, they want to announce, they pretty much want to say, sorry for the stuttering, by the way, like, they want to pretty much announce who is going to be more in the cast. Like, they're a lot more excited to the point that they don't care if they're going to spoil a little bit of the movie. But yeah, the one thing that I am a little bit worried about with the new female Smurfs, like Smurf Storm, Smurf Blossom, Smurf Lily, and Smurf Willow, I'm a little bit worried that they might go into the Chipettes route with it. Because the main Smurfs that are going on this journey, like, we got Smurfette, but we're also getting Papa Smurf, we're also getting Brainy Smurf, Clumsy Smurf, and Hefty Smurf. What I'm worried about is that they're basically going to be like the gender-bent versions, like where you got the strong one, the clumsy one, the smart one, and like you got the leader, basically, which is Papa Smurf and Smurf Willow. That's kind of the aspect that I am a little bit worried about, that they're going to go into that kind of direction where, like, they're taking another step from, they're taking another, like, thing from Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I honestly don't know. I don't really have that much high hopes for Smurfs The Lost Village, but at the same time, I'm not expecting it to be a bad movie, so we'll just wait and see how it goes. Maybe the execution on it will be good. I do trust Kelly Asbury that he can at least bring out something that is entertaining for it. And also, as for the cameos, well, let's be honest, they're just cameos. They're not really going to add much to the movie. So, yeah, for Smurfs The Lost Village, we're just going to wait and see how that goes there. And then, oh boy, the Emoji Movie. Oh, God. Now, like I said before, one of the biggest news that everybody took from all the announcements that Sony Animation made outside of Spider-Man is actually the fact that for some reason, they actually managed to get Patrick Stewart to play the infamous poop emoji. But you know what's actually interesting, though, is that I think people are more pissed off on the Emoji Movie more so than Patrick Stewart himself. Because the thing is, like, it's hard to really be mad at Patrick Stewart. Like, you're not going to see people be pissed off at Patrick Stewart himself for saying yes to something like the Emoji Movie. I'm sure Patrick Stewart is looking at this going, I don't care what you think because I am Patrick Stewart. I'm going to literally have on my portfolio that I actually voiced a turd in a dumb animated movie. But it doesn't really matter. You're still going to like me anyways because I am Patrick Stewart, and you'll always remember me as Captain Picard no matter what dumb crap I do. So yeah, basically that's kind of my theory on it, is that really people are just like, this is just another piece of news that gives people more reason why to hate the Emoji Movie even more. The fact that they would take a well-respected actor, a Shakespearean actor like Patrick Stewart, and make him voice literally a piece of crap. Like, I think that's kind of the big thing that people are just pissed off about on this. But yeah, we all know that it's going to suck no matter what they do. But anyways, let's go back into the star right now. And yeah, I mean, honestly, there's nothing much here that's really changing my mind about this. Like, maybe this could be interesting, maybe it won't. Honestly, I would need a trailer or something like that to know, like, to see if this is going to work out or not. But honestly, it's actually very interesting that Sony Animation decided that they're going to outsource it in order to create this feature. I mean, it is true that they are making like freaking 3 animated features in 2017, so they can't really all do it by themselves and like really cram Sony Pictures Imageworks with nothing but their dumb animated projects. So of course they gotta hand one over to Cinesite. And who knows, like honestly, as a feature film, like in terms of like the movies themselves, I feel like The Star might have a lot more promise than Smurfs: The Lost Village, or, well, of course, especially the Emoji Movie. Like, they might actually turn out good. But again, I do feel like this could end up as a box office bomb. Like, if I could be real for a moment, I wouldn't be surprised if The Star would make even less money than the Emoji Movie. And it's not because it's going to suck, but it's more the factor that it is made for a very, very, very specific audience. It's not just a holiday film, but it's a Christmas Christian film that looks into the aspect of baby Jesus. And I know that some people say that Christian movies are making a lot of money, but they're usually really low budget. And animated films are not that expensive. I mean, like, I can imagine the lowest that maybe The Star could go in terms of its budget, like, would probably be somewhere like maybe 70 or even 60 million. And trust me, for Christian films, you're going to need a lot more cash to deliver in than whatever you've made on something like Passion of not Passion of the Christ, because that's actually hugely successful. I mean more like you need more than just like the profits of God is Not Dead. So that's one of my biggest worry. But as a movie itself, maybe it might turn out pretty good. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But especially, like, another factor may I add, that I am worried that it's going to be a box office bomb is the factor of the release date. It's going to be out on November 10th. That's closer to Halloween than it is on Christmas. Especially, like, they're going to release this movie. I'm guessing, like, a lot of people aren't even gonna care because, like, it's not even, like, it's going to be out even before American Thanksgiving, and then a movie like Coco is going to come in to overshadow it. So, yeah, basically going back to what I was saying, I don't know how it's going to be at the box office. I'm not expecting anything, like, really high on this, but maybe as a movie it might turn out to be good. Maybe it could even be turned out, like, it could actually even be as good as Arthur Christmas. Who knows? But then we go into 2018 with that stuff, and with Hotel Transylvania 3, as you guys may know, I am no fan of the Hotel Transylvania films, and honestly, reading the plot synopsis, like, holy crap. Like, honestly, I'm just thinking to myself, like, is this a joke? Because literally, quite literally, they're rehashing the first movie, and they put it into the third film. Except now, like, they decided to switch the roles where Dracula is going to be Mavis's role and Mavis is going to be in Dracula's role. I mean, like, I'm looking at this like, are you kidding me? Like, this is just purely lazy. This is just honestly stupid. I mean, Genndy Tartakovsky has to seriously take his time out of any other projects to do something like this. And keep in mind, I remember when Genndy Tartakovsky made his announcement that he's going back to Hotel Transylvania 3, he stated that when he was working on Samurai Jack, he got this amazing idea that really made him to go back into it made him go back to Sony Animation to work on Hotel Transylvania again. And, and honestly, looking at this, it's like, really? Is your plan literally to rewrite the first Hotel Transylvania, but to do a role reversal? Like that, like, for a fact that you're lying to everyone and you're just doing it for the money. Like, that's pretty much it. This is a freaking joke. And I'm honestly, like, yeah, basically, I have no hopes for Hotel Transylvania 3. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if this is going to be the thing that this is going to kill the franchise, even for the fans of Hotel Transylvania. Like, literally, they're going to be so lazy with it to the point that it's even going to turn off them. No matter how funny they're going to make it, it's still going to be a really bad movie, and people can tell when they're being screwed over. But may I say, guys, the funniest thing that ever came out of all these announcements, the one that I looked at it and, like, it's making me laugh at the pitiful stupidity at Sony, is the fact that they have to make a Hotel Transylvania animated short to put it in front of the Emoji Movie. I mean, there is no hiding, there is no secret. Everybody knows for a fact that all this is, like, this puppy animated short is nothing but a pitiful, desperate excuse for people to go watch the Emoji Movie. So, like, this is an indicator that Sony Pictures Animation is very well aware for a fact that everybody hates the Emoji Movie, and it's going to be a massive box office bomb to the point that they are going to lose a lot of money they're going to lose a lot of money on it. Seriously. And I mean, like, is Sony seriously expecting that the Hotel Transylvania fans are going to be so crazy for this new animated short to the point that they are going to legitimately go buy a ticket to the Emoji Movie to go see this animated short? Hell no. Like, even I know for a fact that Hotel Transylvania fans are not that freaking stupid. You gotta accept your fate, Sony. Everybody hates the Emoji Movie, and it's going to fail miserably, and you will forever be known as failures who have previously done the Emoji Movie. You just gotta freaking accept it. Alright, but anyways, finally, going into the news of the animated Spider-Man movie. Now, honestly, this is honestly, out of all the animated films that they have announced, this is the one that I'm actually excited for the most. This is the one I'm actually having high hopes for, believe it or not. And it's actually pretty interesting that now, like, it's the duo of Phil Lord and Chris Miller is a little bit more separate here, where it's only Phil Lord who actually did write for this film. It's actually quite interesting. But one thing that does make me the one thing that I am actually pretty excited is the fact that they actually did bring in Peter Ramsey to go and be one of the directors for this. What he did for Rise of the Guardians is actually a really good job. And yeah, like, seeing his directorial comeback and going to help Bob out to go direct this movie, like a Spider-Man movie. And on top of that, from what I've heard, from what people have seen from the preview of this Spider-Man film, is that what they're going to do with the animation is going to be brand new. It's going to be interesting. This is pretty much the only project that I'm encouraging Sony Animation to do something a lot more different, and I am actually really glad that they are going to do something really different, especially when they're going to have Miles Morales, or something like that. I'll just call him Miles now. Like, that they are going to bring in Miles to become Spider-Man, that they're going to do something a little bit more different than always doing the story of Peter Parker and stuff like that. I've already mentioned this before in a previous episode of the animation podcast, but the one thing that I am worried about with this new Spider-Man is going to be the reaction the fact that there's going to be this African American Spider-Man. And you never know in like the age of Trump where the racists are pretty much going to be running rampant and like they're just going to be, you know, like they're pretty much going to be raging over the fact that now Spider-Man is black. Regardless of what the history of Spider-Man has been said, like regardless of whatever happened, they're just going to be pissed off over the fact that Spider-Man is not white. And they're just going to make up whatever bullcrap excuse in order for themselves to be racist. Like they're going to say, oh, it's my freedom of speech, it's my opinion, or whatever bullcrap garbage they're going to say just so they can have an excuse to be a racist Nazi, you know? But other than that, I will say that I am definitely excited for this Spider-Man movie, so who knows what's going to happen. But overall, like, with all the announcements that Sony Animation has done with all these, you know, I wouldn't even say that this is really announcements. All this is just a list of an extra plot synopsis and, like, an entire grocery list of celebrities that are going to be lending their voice for, like, their movies, honestly. The only thing that really is an announcement is the fact that they have announced a brand new Hotel Transylvania short, but nobody's gonna go watch it anyways, because they're not that stupid to go and buy a ticket to the Emoji Movie just to see this animated short. I don't think they're that crazy for it. Like, I know for a fact that the fans are just gonna wait until someone uploads it on YouTube, or if it's going to be out on DVD somewhere. Like, honestly, who knows? But, yeah, honestly, this is not really changing my mind in terms of how these movies are going to be. Like, my mind is, like, honestly, the only thing that I've got as a clarification on how the movie is going to be with Hotel Transylvania 3, which, like, there's a very, like, honestly, it almost confirms me that it's really going to suck, considering that they're just going to copy the plot of the first movie, and literally that's it. But other than that, like, I know for a fact that the Emoji Movie is going to be a disaster. I'm still a little bit iffy on Smurfs: The Lost Village. The store might actually have some potential, and I'm actually excited for the Spider-Man movie. And I would actually say that if Sony Animation somehow survives through 2020, then I'm actually excited for the Vivo project as well. But yeah, like, we'll have to wait and see if Sony is even going to survive through 2017. Like, the thing is, like I said, we know for a fact that the Emoji Movie is going to be a bomb, and there's a very high chance that the Star is also going to be a bomb. So, and plus the fact that, like, the big head of Sony Entertainment is going to have a massive change since Michael Linden decided to step down and there's going to be a brand new boss. Who knows if the new head of Sony Entertainment decided that Sony Animation isn't working out and they're going to let it go. So who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, that's basically all the announcements that Sony Animation has done. And we'll just wait and see how their movies are going to go. But chances are 2017 is not necessarily going to... Hey guys, this is Animat. I just want to remind you guys that this is just a little taste of what you can get with the Animation Podcast. This is not all of it. If you guys want to go and listen to the full episodes of the Animation Podcast, then allow me to show you some of the different ways that you can go. First off, you can actually go on the website that it is hosted on, Filmbook, so you can go directly onto there. You can also go and check out the official Filmbook Podcast YouTube page, so at least you don't have to go away from YouTube and you can listen to the podcast right there. But if you would like to listen on the go, like if you want to listen it to on your phone or on your iPad and all that kind of stuff, then you can listen to it on either iTunes or you can listen to it on Android. So those are all the different options, and if you'd like to have more info, then all you have to do is just check in the description down below. And with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes!